Good morning and welcome to Dubutsu-Kyoji, the Animal Liberation Temple. Sorry about the late start, but I am trying to, as you saw, I had the new intro and now I am trying to figure out my camera setup here. Sorry about that, 1 second. Okay, that seems correct. Looks like I am live on YouTube. I am live on Facebook. Good morning, Tani. Good morning, Jackie. Good morning, Martin. Good morning, Pastor Rob. So good to see you here. Hopefully, everybody caught the intro. You could let me know what you think. That's our old intro that we used to use. And because I didn't have my OBS working, I had to not use that intro anymore. So let me know what you think. I want to create a new intro. I just haven't got around to doing that. So 1 second as we get started. Oh, good morning, Lester Lagda. Thank you so much. Thank you for the comment about the intro. I haven't used that in over a year, um, but now that I kind of got things working again. Looks like everything is working. I just need to mute my phone so that. So let's start with the updates here. Um, this morning we're really lucky. We have a volunteer out here who got all the animals fed this morning, so that's really great. Um, Still ran behind trying to get all the video up. I started on the old guinea fowl area, which was kind of the netting was falling apart, and became unsafe from the storms. So I started to do the repairs there. We still need a fundraise to actually afford hawk netting, some more wood, build some extra safety areas. But I've got all the old hawk netting off, kind of cleaned up the area a bit. So that project is going and we got that started. So that's really good news. Oh, good morning, Yolanda. So good to see you. And then of course we have not a lot of other projects going. That's my main project. Always making places safer. The ducks got into like finding the smallest places that they can get into and getting stuck. So I've had to go around and like change the fencing and move the fencing and add fencing just to keep them from getting into those little areas and getting stuck. So always something new here. Always something to do. The tortoises are out. Um, it's definitely warming up, so that's really great for them. But updates on our residents here. We have Breve, Grave, Amanda, and Renee, our four duck sisters, all doing really well and eating breakfast this morning. I have Lucy right here on my right side, just kind of hanging out in the sun. Bernard is running around being crazy. My three goats down the hill, Rob, Matt, and Philip, are all doing really well. Saw them yesterday. Like I mentioned, the tortoises, Miyachi, and the other two are doing really well. The turkeys, Priya and Harriet, are eating their breakfast right now. Harriet flipped her bowl over, of course. Um, they have been a little at each other. Maybe that's in the springtime, they kind of get feisty and a little bit of sisterly rivalry, I guess, going on. So they've been arguing a bit lately, and sometimes it comes to a little bit of squabbles. But they're health-wise, they're doing well. We have Jax and Jimmy and Jax, our Cornish roosters, who are doing really well. Their weight is getting a lot better. Jimmy's weight is starting to really come back. So I might lower his food down a little bit. I'm going to weigh him this morning and we'll figure out what we want to do. Then we have our guinea fowl friend Wendy, who's doing really well. The roosters in the main aviary, which are Sabrina, May, Brad, Hardwon, Kudu, Elliot, and Magnus, all doing really well. And then we have our hens, Glennis, Gwen, Alice, Melissa, Sunny, Dora, and Daniela. Dora, unfortunately, is not doing as well as I would want her to be doing. Unfortunately, she was rescued from the egg industry, so she's starting to lay way too many eggs, and it's starting to hurt her body. I believe she has an internal tear in her cloaca, which is causing her to bleed a little bit more than she should be. So we're keeping a close eye on that. She's getting daily Epsom salt baths to try to help with that. I'm going to see about getting some antibiotics. Hopefully, we can get some. And just keeping an eye on Dora. Her, she's still really energetic. Um, Always loves jumping into the food bowl and eating every morning and evening. Still, running about and being her Dora self. Just a little bit concerned about her Koleka. And then we got our rat friends, Yamabushi and Hasu, who are doing really well. And our dove friend inside, Sequoia, is also doing well. And then on our Cornwall corner over here, we had the Cornishes, Poppy, Aster, Ivy, Azalea, Peony, Cynthia, Lotus, Edward, Magnolia, Hazel, Sage, Marigold, Camilla, Hydrangea, Holly, and Zinnia, also all doing really well. And then we have the 39 pigeons, which are FP, Champagne, Appletini, Tulin, Sasha, Yo-Yo, Petey, Ricky, Spencer, Shambles, Beluga, Beth, Pee-wee, Cascade, August, Frankie, Rufus, Harper, Elliot, Snickers, Boba, Kismet, Farah, Angus, Pandora, Jones, Sin, Harriet, Lago, Fred, Chamanto, Halo, Vin, Capone, Thimble, Percy, Pacino, Lacey, and Sasha the Second. Also all doing really well. Pigeons are just wonderful. And then finally we have our four foster ducks, who are also doing really well. They're out in the main yard, picking on the other ducks a little bit. So maybe we're alternating them sometimes in and out so that they each get some time to be in the pond. And like I said, the new foster ducks are kind of being bullies, but it takes some time usually to get everybody adjusted. So we'll continue to work on that. I believe this is the same Lester from the BAA yesterday, and they said something wonderful about making sure that every non-human animal that we run across has a name, and it's really important to them. And I completely agree, and that's why, everybody here has names, and we call them by their names. And maybe some of them don't know their names, and some of them do. Some of them have really special meanings. Some of them were named by somebody else, and I have no idea why they were named that. But it's really important to us that they do have names. As a lot of folks know, um, when we name the residents here or when they come here with names, we only have one rule about names, and that is that they can't be named after a food item. So we'd never have a pig named, Bacon or um, you know, even I dislike naming them after fruit and things like that because fruit is actually real food. It's something that we eat, and our residents are not food. So our one rule is they can't be named after food. Oh, good morning, Pauline. So good to see you. So those are all the updates here at the Animal Liberation Temple. This gets started with our services. As always, our services are dedicated to our dear animal friends. It's of great benefit for them themselves to hear these prayers and mantras and sutras dedicated to them. So for your companion animal friends at home, it'd be great for them to hear it. Also, if there are any wild animals nearby, it's also great for them to hear these prayers as well. I especially like to acknowledge the millions and millions of insects that might be around us. Um, they are definitely sentient beings and deserve these prayers as well. And definitely, I would classify them as wild animals. Speaking of wild animals, we have our finches and stuff flying about and joining us today for services. So, absolutely beautiful day here at the temple. Yes, it is very, very sunny, Yolanda. Maka hanya haramita shinyo kanji zai bosatsu gyojin hanya haramita jiso kengo onkai kodo isai kuyaku sharishi shiki fuku kufu ishiki shiki zoku ze fuku zoku ze shiki juso gyo shiki yaku bunyo ze sharishi ze shohoku so fu shou fu metsu fuku fu zhou fu zou fu gen ze koku shu mu shiki mu zhou so gyo shiki mu gen ni bi zetsu ni mu shiki shoko mi soku ho mu gen kai nai shi mu ishiki kai mu mu myo yaku mu mu myo jin nai shi mu ro shi yaku mu ro shin jin mu ku shu metsu do mu chi yaku mu toku i mu sho tokko bo zai satta e hanya haramita koshin mukege komuku funri sai tendo musuku yonen sanze shubutsu e hanya haramita kotoku wa nokutara sanyaku sanbo de kochi hanya haramita zerai shinshu zerai myoshu ze mujo shu ze mutodo shu no jo isai kushin jitsu fu koko zetsu hanya haramita shuzoku zetsu shuwatsu gyate gyate hara gyate hara so gyate boji soaka hanya shinyo negu waku wa kono kudoko motte ama neku isai ni yoyoboshi warira toshija tomina tomono butsudo o animal liberation o jozen koto o jiho sanchi foshi son bosa foshi son bosa moko sa moko hoja horo mi. And now recite the refuge prayer in Tibetan and English, page 8 of the Animal Liberation Temple Prayer Book. Zangye Chodan Tsuki Chonam La Janju Pai Duk Tekni Gyab Suchi Daki Jinso Gyepe Sonam Ki Jola Penjer Sangye Jupar Sho. The Buddha, Dharma, and excellent assembly of the Sangha. Until I attain enlightenment in these, I take refuge. By my practice of the 6 perfections, may all sentient beings attain the state of Buddhahood. We now recite the four great Bodhisattva vows, Shigi Seigan, page 9 of the Animal Liberation Temple Prayer Book. Shujo Muhen Segando Bono Mudyan Segandan Omon Muryo Segangak Wotado Mujo Seganjo. However, numerous sentient beings, I vow to enlighten them all. However inexhaustible my delusions, I vow to extinguish them all. However immeasurable the dharmas, I vow to master them all. However endlessly enlightened way, I vow to follow it fully. And we now recite the 6 vows to our dear animal friends. However numerous my dear animal friends, I vow to liberate them all. However diverse the methods of animal liberation, I vow to support them all. However unheard their voices, I vow to speak out for them all. However painful and inexhaustible the methods of suffering, I vow to bear witness to them all. However infinite the cages and tanks, I vow to empty them all. However difficult animal liberation, I vow to achieve it completely. And we now recite the 100-syllable Vajrasattva purification mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Nupalaya Vajrasattva Te Nupati Sete Dome Bhava Zito Shome Bhava Sipo Shome Bhava Anorato Me Bhava Sava Sita Me Priyata Sava Karma Sita Me Sitam Shri Yam Guru Hom Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sava Tata Gata Vajrama Me Mutra Vajri Bhava Mahasamamya Safaha. Last week, I talked about supporting sanctuaries out there, volunteering in person financially, but really important maybe just to reach out and show your support. Let them know that you appreciate what they do and you support the kind of work they're doing. That's really important to do for sanctuaries because so often our work goes unnoticed, especially when you have non-public facing sanctuaries like our own. I don't think it's because we don't try to be public facing. We are open to the public. However, because of our location, it sometimes is difficult to get up here or people don't know that we exist. Interesting story that I kind of debated whether or not I would even talk about it. But we got an email in this last week saying that somebody wanted to, learn how to volunteer here at the Animal Liberation Temple. And I was really excited to see, new people come up here. And then back and forth for a while. And then abruptly they're just like, oh, I can't make it. And it's like, okay, yeah, like no big deal. Like, we set up a time, but they weren't able to make that time. So I was like, anytime, you want to reschedule, just let me know. And then they responded back, no, thank you. And I went through the emails to see if, did I say something wrong or anything? And I think maybe we share this land with another sanctuary, and maybe they got our two sanctuaries confused and thought that like they were communicating with somebody from One Living Sanctuary, or like that was our sanctuary, which it's not. We're completely independent and separate sanctuary. Or maybe they had this impression of what a Buddhist temple should look like. A lot of folks find us by looking for Buddhist temples, and we are a Buddhist temple. However, I don't think that we're the traditional image of what a Buddhist temple is. I have no indoor enclosure to our temple. One day we will, but for now, we prioritize residents and we prioritize the animals. And in fact, I think I would rather more churches and more temples kind of take up that type of attitude when building their churches and building their temples. That, like, maybe before building the beautiful cathedral, which I think has a place and has a function. Maybe make sure your parishioners are taken care of. Make sure the people in your neighborhood are being taken care of. Make sure that the majority of your funds are going back into helping others. I would say that we definitely prioritize the non-human animal residents here. There are like true parishioners. And are you okay, Lucy? You okay? I hear you whining. You're okay, baby. So, yeah. So we do prioritize the non-human animals here, and we make sure they have food, and we make sure that their areas look nice, that we build their structures before we build our temple structure. And I think that there's value to having a temple structure one day. Because for that very reason, that email that they probably had this picture, an idea of what a temple should look like in their head, and maybe they saw us online or saw these services and realized like, yeah, I'm not indoors. I'm not, I have my very humble altar here that's probably very weathered, and I picked this up used, so it's probably over 20 years old now. And the statues are not gold or anything fancy. They're definitely worn, and not very expensive. Um, our main Jizo here I bought with Pastor Rob when we were visiting LA together. We found this little Chinese religious store that had all these different Buddhas and everything, and I found the Jizo Bodhisattva, and since it represents our temple, I was able to make that purchase. And if I remember right, I think Pastor Rob helped me talk the price down a little bit. So we don't have any ornate Buddhist statues, but I have the bare minimum to make sure that we represent the importance of our non-human animal friends. And this is why I do think it is important that that churches and temples and so forth, and even sanctuaries have like a good look to them, that we are representing our parishioners, our non-human animal residents, in a way that they deserve. If I had unlimited funds, everybody would have heated and air-conditioned buildings to go in if they wanted, and everybody would have, fans when it got, too hot outside, that they can, enjoy that, and we would have multiple ponds for the ducks to enjoy. And we'd have a large temple that people could come and sit down and join our services every week. But one day we'll get there. But first, we have to make sure we take care of our non-human animal friends, and make sure that we take care of them first. That they're our priority. And like I was saying, I'd like to see other churches kind of take that lead as well. Take care of your neighbors. Take care of the folks around you. Before buying that, ornate cathedral. Pastor Rob, I'm sure, agrees. Um, spend money where it helps the most. Absolutely. I think even Pastor Rob operates in a very beautiful church, but it's I think over 100 years old and needs a lot of work. And it's a very very beautiful place, but it takes a lot of work. And he could have put his money into like an already built place, but he wanted to make sure that he put his money towards activism and put his money towards helping others first before making the ornate church. And I think read this comment here. Pauline says, "I wish my church would rescue animals." Yeah, absolutely. Um, Churches should absolutely rescue animals, and at the very least, maybe just feed the wild animals nearby. Make sure they have a bird feeder. Maybe that's where it starts. Talk to your church that you go to. If you go to a church, or if you go to a temple, talk to them. Say maybe we should introduce a bird feeder. Um, Maybe we should make sure that we put out some food for the stray cats in the neighborhood. All these little things that like kind of bring these religious organizations a little bit closer um, to our non-human animal friends and recognize them as fully sentient beings as they should. Yeah, I heard this very sad news about the cat sanctuary in New York, and the owner trying to save those poor cats. Unfortunately, passed away trying to do that. But obviously, a very dedicated person. Yeah, I think yeah, Yolanda. I'm sorry um, that folks that you had that bad experience at a cat sanctuary where people were upset at people having a cat sanctuary. And absolutely, I think sanctuaries often we do come across adversity sometimes, um, and people who don't want us to be operating and having these spaces for our non-human animal friends. And that can be very difficult and hard. um, One of the things that we do here is that we have cameras everywhere to kind of capture anything that might happen here. I don't expect anything to happen at all, but because I'm aware of the dangers there is operating a sanctuary, that people may want to harm you. So we have security cameras everywhere as one of the things that we do to help keep things secure. Yeah. Tani, my mother said, if someone doesn't want to support the temple merely because of its looks, they have the wrong values and maybe should support elsewhere. They would not value their individual health. Yeah, and this brings me to this idea too that like the big large sanctuaries I talked about last week often get the most funding, and because they get the most funding, they're able to build large, big, popular sanctuaries, which makes them get more funding. But the small sanctuaries stay small and struggle the whole time to try to grow, and it's such a difficult thing for us smaller sanctuaries to grow because of that. It's not everything's not picture perfect. Things here are beautiful, but we have a long ways to go, and we could do better at keeping things cleaner. As always, I always tell people, you can always volunteer because there's always something to clean. Um, and I think I could even work harder at keeping things clean. It's just something we need to do. Oh, Pastor Rob said that the church is over 200 years old. Yeah, that's absolutely amazing. Yeah, the least expensive church he could that Pastor Rob could find. Because yeah, absolutely. Because I know that I when I was looking for a place to put this sanctuary, there's a lot of other places that we could have looked. There was a lot of other places that were um, more expensive or um, smaller and things like that. But we thought about what would our non-human animal residents need, and you know, put their priorities first. Um, you know, I always talk about how I built all of these aviaries before I built my house. My house was the last thing to get built. And then I had my house for a long time, and I repaired the aviaries, built more aviaries, built more things for them before even having a bathroom. We went 3 years here without a bathroom. We finally have one. I'm very blessed to have one. Um, but maybe another 3 more years before I have a temple building, because I'll make sure I take care of the residents first. I remember virtually attending when it was so cold you wore a parka and mittens during a service. Probably. It does get really cold up here. Cameras are very important in supporting the neighborhood. Yeah, definitely. I try to keep um, friends with all of the folks that live around here. Even if some of them aren't super animal friendly, I find if you can just at least be friendly to them, you show them a lot of love and compassion and care, and they kind of understand what you're doing and kind of let you do your thing, even if they don't completely agree with it. Um, you know, Love and compassion can go a long way when you are honest and sincere with people. It boggles my mind how vicious people can be about being kind to animals. Yeah, it is definitely, but definitely a strange thing. But we hope to be setting an example. Like I said, what I really wanted to talk about this week is how um, temples, churches, synagogues, all like that. I've always said that they should always have their own animal rescue attached to them. They should all adopt a chicken. And if not a chicken, maybe they have a church dog or a church kitten, or church mice, and they should make sure that they're taking care of them. Maybe they have a little insect home. I think it's off camera, but I have a little insect house attached to the fence that, it's a little thing made out of wood. You can buy them online. It was a gift, and they're a little house with little holes in it. Looks like a bird house, but much smaller. And it's a place for insects to live, maybe little spiders or other insects. And I think that we can, that can go a long way. And if your church or synagogue or temple is not doing this, ask them. Take that first step. Hey, maybe we can start to feed some of the stray cats in the neighborhood. Maybe we shouldn't have this rat poison at the church. I don't think this is having poison in a place where we are, that should represent love and compassion and care for all beings, should probably not have poison. So maybe talk to your church about removing those poison boxes. Um, Maybe talk to them about maybe promoting a sanctuary nearby. Talk about a sanctuary in their services. Try to convince some of their parishioners to visit a sanctuary or a dog shelter. I think there's a lot of power in religious institutions starting to embrace our non-human animal friends. I've always been a firm believer, if you can show love for a fish in an ocean on the other side of the world, um, and we can have that much love, care, and compassion, then it will be very easy to have love, care, and compassion for some of our other humans. At least that's how I see it. I know a lot of folks here don't like humans so much, but I still love my human friends. Um, we're all animals. I'm a firm believer in that. That's why we are the Animal Liberation Temple with no We don't specify whether that be a human animal or non-human animal. We're just the Animal Liberation Temple. I'm a firm believer that we're all animals and we are not separate from our non-human animal friends. I believe that in order for all beings to be free of suffering, that is inclusive of all human beings need to be free of suffering, as well as our non-human animal friends need to be free of suffering, if any of us hope to experience a freedom from suffering. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, it reminds me. They always a lot of churches have have a lot of significance with doves and so forth. So maybe they should be feeding the local pigeons and doves. A lot of people see what they call pigeons are actually rock doves. So to embrace that a little bit more, maybe we should be feeding our pigeon friends. Make sure that you're feeding them safe food too, preferably pigeon seed and not bread. So that's what I wanted to talk about this week. I hope everybody got a lot of it about. Oh yeah, sticky traps. Thank you, Jackie, for bringing that up. Not just the poison boxes, but a lot of places have those sticky traps. And it's an absolutely horrible way for rodents and mice to die, but also our insect friends get stuck in them. Um, I've heard of cats and pigeons and other birds getting stuck in them. It's quite a horrible thing. So you know let's make sure that our places that represent love and compassion and care, those places that represent our own personal spirituality, don't have these things of violence in them. Maybe your church is not vegan yet. Maybe your temple is not vegan yet. Um, but I think a great way to start is maybe get them to remove the poison, the glue traps, to be kind to the wild animals nearby. It's a great way to start. Well, we'll conclude today's service with the recitation of the Animal Liberation Prayer, as well as the dedication of merit to our dear animal friends. And then we'll take a quick walk around and meet and see some of our residents here. May all sentient beings, especially our dear animal friends who are subject to unbearable pain in labs throughout the world, be free of all suffering. May alternatives to animal experimentation, vivisection, and dissection be implemented immediately. May bodhicitta, the quality of compassion that leads to enlightenment, fill the hearts of those who imprison them. May all sentient beings, especially our dear animal friends who suffer endless days, months, and years, locked in tiny cages unable to move, be filled with peace and calm. May all sentient beings, especially our dear animal friends who are forcibly taken from their families, be reunited, and may all families be able to stay together. May the hearts of those who work in slaughterhouses, factory farms, and all industries that exploit our dear animal friends be filled with bodhicitta, so the very thought of harm is purified. May they never kill again, and may the slaughterhouse lines, factory farms, and all industries that exploit our dear animal friends become immediately empty. May no animal be afraid or depressed. May their bodies be free of injuries, disease, and illness. May the mutilation of their bodies be forever ceased. May those who need homes or are driven from them find shelter, plentiful food, and water. May there be liberation for those tortured for fur, entertainment, or who are hunted. May those who believe that they are superior to our brother and sister animals develop perfect equanimity, and may they realize in their hearts that all sentient beings possess Buddha nature, the potential to be completely free of suffering, and that they are not ours to kill or exploit. May the billions of land and sea-dwelling sentient beings who are abused and exploited and killed due to greed, hatred, and ignorance be free of suffering. May all the nets, hooks, blades, projectiles, traps, snares, cages, pens, tanks, lethal restraints, saddles, reins, prods, bait, poison, and all instruments used to harm, exploit, and dominate our dear animal friends be forever abolished. May all human and non-human sentient beings live together in harmony, peace, equanimity, and achieve perfect enlightenment quickly. May we all experience happiness, safety, freedom, an animal liberation in this very lifetime. And we now recite the dedication of merit to our dear animal friends. Throughout our many lives and until this moment, whatever virtue we have accomplished, including this aspiration for peace, and all that we will ever attain, this we offer for the benefit of all sentient beings, especially our dear animal friends. May suffering, exploitation, and unnecessary death be decreased for every being, while wisdom, bliss, and compassion increase in this and every future life. May we clearly and instantly perceive the plight of our dear animal friends with the urgency and seriousness they deserve, and their every action leads to complete liberation. May we quickly attain enlightenment and work ceaselessly for the liberation of all sentient beings. I think, yep, we're definitely on the other mic. We're going to say hi to the tortoises who were out and about this morning. Let's see if I can get them in shot. Hello. Is that right? Lucy? You okay? You need to go out? There goes Lucy. There's Bernard. My nice clean pond, well, cleaner. Looks like I already got algae growth. I'm definitely gonna get some algae stopper. They make a really nice product that's like all natural and safe for birds and fish. Not that I have fish, but it's usually if it's safe for fish, it's gonna be safe for birds. So I'll need to put that in there this week. And the chickens here. Hi Dora, how you feeling today? Doing all right? Where's your leg? Where's your leg, Dora? Got it tucked up in there? Yeah. All right, Priya and Harriet. You can't come out yet because look at all this food that the chickens didn't eat yet. And there's Sabrina and Elton. And that's Melissa over there. Oops, sorry. I know my camera work isn't great. Do my best. Here's our foster ducks. Definitely did not finish their breakfast yet. Very green out today, which is really nice. Beautiful day. I don't know if people can see that very large not a condor, it's a vulture. Yeah. Let's see who's out in here. Oop. There's Sequoia. Hi, Sequoia. And Yamabushi was out. Hey, Yamabushi, you want to say hi to everybody? Yamabushi and Hasu. They're getting ready to go back to bed. They've been up all night. Sweet little rats. Oh, I'm glad the camera picked that up. That's Sequoia making that noise. Very cute. Well, thank you everybody for joining us here at the Animal Liberation Temple, where we are at the service of the spiritual and physical liberation of our dear animal friends. It's super helpful if folks are sharing our videos, sharing our posts, sharing our fundraisers, things like that. If you're local, please come out and visit, volunteer, or just visit and say hi. We always love seeing people. If you are in a financial position to where you can donate, every little bit really helps a lot. It goes to help feed everybody and maintain their areas and work on our larger projects that we have going on here. We super appreciate everybody just tuning in and commenting. That's really helpful. I think, yeah, our YouTube's at 27 subscribers. Really good considering I know 27 people don't watch it, but at least there's people subscribing. So even if you don't watch this on YouTube ever, you only tune in on Facebook, that's totally fine. Maybe just go in and subscribe to our channel just so that kind of helps make our channel more relevant, get this message to the right people. I'm really excited about, folks who operate or are working inside churches and temples and synagogues and religious institutions, kind of hear this message and, start to, create a spiritual and religious space that is inclusive of our non-human animal friends. All right, well, thank you everybody and have a wonderful week.